Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Crabby Morning. Today we'll be talking about public schools and colleges. I'm your host, Liam, with
Dylan.
John.
And Kayla.
first.
Kayla.
Oh.
Hi, John.
Hey, Kayla.
Hi, John.
Okay, let's get
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, I would like to say that school needs to change because they are just. I don't think they know what they're doing, you know?
No, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was screwed over by the school system. They treated me so dirty, like a used napkin.
Oh,
Mhm.
no, I use napkin.
Would you say that the teachers, like, sometimes they'll play favorites in the classroom?
Oh, for sure. 100%. And
Were you one of the favorites, Lamb?
only for one of my classes.
Nice.
But that was okay because then it balanced it out and it's all good.
It's only okay. It's only okay when you're the favorite. When you're not the favorite, it's like the whole world's against you.
I wanted to make a point in saying that what I think is that for AP and honors classes specifically in school, I think that one, they can be kind of seen as a way of playing favorites for the students, or it'll make people feel bad about their own academic abilities. I also wanted to mention that
Time out. Let's
John,
dissolve this first.
What? No,
One
whoa,
piece
whoa,
at a
whoa,
time.
Whoa. I need to talk about this.
Okay, well, how
John,
many things do you want to talk
John,
about?
I need to talk about both of these. There were two things that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
That
So-
was loud.
I wanted to talk about how in the college system, when you're trying to apply for a college application,
All right.
they don't really look at AP and honors like classes. They just care that you have a high school diploma going in.
Is there
Or
anything-
GED.
Else that they would be looking for in applications?
Well, like that depends. I mean, certain like skills that you may have is good for talking about, or like any other extracurricular activities you've done, like maybe sports would be really interesting to colleges, things like that.
Or what type of college? Like
Let's-
just regular community college? Are you trying to go to like an Ivy League college?
That, like I said, it depends.
University.
'Cause-
University, because those will also, they look for a lot more things than like just you getting your diploma or your GED. They want to know, like, are you an overachiever and can you bring more prestige to our very elite college?
Right.
Like,
Very good at
with
sports.
with 6.0 GPA.
Yeah.
You're like god tier level smartness.
Exactly. Well, different colleges look for different things. It's, like for community colleges, it's not as bad as, like you're saying, Ivy League school. It's really about, you have to really look into what they're trying to get out of you as a student and how they can integrate you into their own specific environment. The problem is with AP and honors is that, well, yes, it does help you in retaining the information. Usually it's colleges, especially if you're going into community colleges, which I do highly suggest if you're trying to save money going into it for the first time, then they really focus on just the high school diploma and any other skills.
Well, I can say for certain that AP classes were not for me. I took one class to just try it out. It was a psychology class in high school. It was too hard for my brain. I was just so confused. I didn't know what was going on. Thank God I had amazing classmates because they would hand me notes so I could understand it. They'd be like, oh, here you go. And I'm like, oh, thank you. You're so nice.
Let's dissolve this for a second.
Okay.
I think that let's start with, because that's why I want to go one step at a time, because you had a lot to say, Dylan. But
Well,
this-
I had to lay it onto the table.
Yeah, and I got it. So AP classes, let's talk about why would it be important to split them into different groups, and then we can like further decide if that's like beneficial or not.
Yes, quite interesting.
So why would they split them into groups? I think because, like you said, you weren't able to handle the AP classes, or at least they were too difficult for you, because they are college level classes that you're taking in high school. So you need to be quote unquote advanced to, like, because it's advanced placement, to be able to take them sometimes.
Well,
Yes, sir.
yeah. I was just saying that I like to take it more at a slower pace and just kind of just work on it piece by piece. But AP was just fast paced, work on your own. I was like, I need some sort of guidance, some little light at the end of the tunnel to look forward.
Yeah, and that's kind of what college is, to be honest. Is it's fast paced and they don't care if you are catching up, and so that's why I think it's important that they split it up. So then they don't have, because if they had everyone together, then they would have everyone taking classes that wouldn't count towards their college credit.
Mm.
So, and some people are trying to save money, I guess.
Yeah.
So if they can do it, then they would, and that's why they have the choice to do it. Whether my problem with AP classes is you can be doing a heckin' good job in the class, pay $100 to take a test, and if you fail that test, then the whole entire class was just for nothing, and you just took a hard class.
That's awful. I did not know that.
And so you go into this room, and it's like a SOL test kind of, and it gives you a college level exam. Like, it's really, really fancy. It's a big test, and it's really, they have a proctor and everything. And you go into this room, and you take this, like, hours of testing, and then you wait a month, and then you see your score. And if it's below, I think it's 3 or below, then you just, you paid $100, you lost $100, and you took a class that you are probably doing worse in than if you did a regular level class. So that's my problem with AP classes. But do you guys think that it's beneficial to have these AP classes as an option?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that really varies from like person to person. If you feel like you want to take those classes because it's maybe something that you're trying to get into later, like a certain career, then yeah, I think that should be an optional thing. But like what you said, I think that there are some things that do need to be changed about it and addressed.
My next thing is that you said that they just look at AP classes.
Well, they also look at foreign languages, Spanish, etc.,
Yeah.
German.
I think that is, I guess the colleges just want people that do well in their colleges, to be honest. Kind of like if a school, when their students do bad, then they get completely roasted.
Wait, I was saying they don't.
They don't?
I was saying they don't.
They don't look at AP classes?
No.
Because the AP classes are for the college. It's like,
I'm saying for specifically like community colleges or any other colleges that won't necessarily like require that type of academic achievement.
That's
you know
like
what I'm
a
saying?
reason for them joining?
Yeah.
I guess that's more for giving them a fair chance. Or wait, no, you think that they should include it as part of the reason that
I'm saying that like that it's fine to have AP classes, but I'm trying to say that like depending on which college you go to, they might not always care about you having AP or honors, because it's equally as beneficial to be part of like some other sort of curriculum that would count as, you know, helping you out with your chances of getting admitted into a college than just AP and honors.
Well, AP, I feel as though is exaggerated, because you could just be taking regular classes that the other AP kids are doing, and you could still be working just as hard. But from what one of my teachers told me, they'll be looking at the AP classes and then the regular student, and they'll be like, "Oh, the AP kid, he's looking pretty cool, you know."
Mm-hmm. I think that is unfair,
a lot of favoritism.
because they are working ahead, I guess, and not everyone is ready for that until they get to college. And if they aren't given that shot when they get to college because they didn't get a head start, then that is kind of sad.
Say they're both looking to be a history major, all right? One takes AP and one does not, and they both have an A plus. So you're telling me that they're just gonna favorite the AP student?
Well, they probably are, because he is doing an advanced class and doing just as well as a person not. That necessarily isn't a good justifiable matter, but I can understand it.
That and like some of the AP people in normally, I guess, high school, It's not all, but some tend to have like a higher ego about themselves because they feel
Ooh,
like
not
they're
the ego.
they feel like they're superior in a way because they're in AP or honors, and they feel as if people who aren't in there aren't necessarily up to their standards, and they kind of, not all, but some will put others down because they feel like they're beneath them in a way, I guess.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Well, playing favorites is, I mean, is that what you're trying to say? Playing favorites?
Yeah, with the teachers.
What I was gonna say that's a problem with both, really any part of public school and also college, because that happens in college, but in a different way. The way that it happens in there is that you'll be going into a certain class that might just be for like part of the major you're trying to do, but like not going into the career that you want. And for example, if you took a science class, the teachers may sometimes, not all teachers, but like some of them may play favorites to the science majors and kind of gear the class or structure the class in a way that it's like helping science majors like move on to a different stage.
That's
But
whack.
yeah, that's a big problem because I've taken classes like that before where like they're teaching you all this stuff that prepares you for that, but I'm not going into science. I'm going into a different subject, and I feel like a lot of other students like myself feel the same way, that they're having a lot of trouble with it because it's something they're not used to because it's not their major.
So you're saying that there needs to be a change in the school system.
I'm saying that like
Dylan's
you
saying,
have
like,
I'm saying you have to like make sure that the students are absolutely going to be for that certain major, because I mean this was a 101 class, like a starting off class.
Okay.
This wasn't like going down the road. It'd be fine if it was like you took a few science classes and then you knew for sure what your major was going to be.
All right.
This was right off the bat,
Okay.
gearing towards those science.
Are you
Basic
saying,
of basic.
Sorry.
Yes.
Go
I
ahead,
was gonna
John.
say, are you saying that you should split off them from people being like who are going to science majors and people that are not going into science majors?
I'm saying that like that you shouldn't be geared because the class was made harder
It's
to
made,
give the science
Yeah.
science students an understanding of how all this stuff works, which is fine, and I understand that. But at the same time, that also makes regular students struggle.
Yeah, totally. And I think that this is a problem, and it's also a unfixable problem, because if they split it between two groups, then they would have people. Let's say I didn't want to be a major in this thing, and then I passed this class which was attributed to people. Like, let's say I take this science class. I'm not going to be a science major, and they make the class so that it's easier for people who don't want to be scientists and harder for people who do want to be scientists. And I pass the class. And let's say I change my mind afterwards and I'm like, I want to be a scientist. And I already passed this class. And all those guys who just took the science class had that harder version of the class because they wanted to be scientists. And we just got the same thing because I finessed the system. Like, there's no way to control that. And the whole problem with this is that they just have to gear it towards like the majority. And that's like a unfixable problem in my opinion.
I'm not trying to say that like it should be split, because that is a very good point, and I see what you're saying. I'm trying to say that like there should be a good medium between those two groups of people. In the
I just say just mix them all together. Just
And
throw them together.
That's what they do, silly.
Just
Good talk.
good talk.
Now let's talk about so how many of you guys are in college now? I am in college.
I
am
am
not.
in college.
And Kayla?
I am partially in college.
So everyone but me. All right, I will have nothing to say on this part.
we're gonna start talking about, I guess, paying for college.
It's too expensive.
I said before, community college, I highly recommend that because it is much cheaper than going right off the bat into a regular college.
So America has really high college
Tuitions.
Yes.
compared to the rest of a lot of other places. I know in Italy I went there and they were saying I gotta pay $100 a semester, and
I
it's really
wish.
it's really annoying
What?
because it costs so much. And it is because of the taxes and stuff over there,
Yeah.
and it goes towards it. But when they heard how much tuition was over here, they were like,
That's not that much.
yeah,
My $100 is not that much.
they went abroad
Oh.
to
Oh.
France, and were saying, oh, it's like, I forget how much, but it was less than $1,000.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's crazy.
crazy.
Mm.
So that was a little bit of a eye opener for me. Do you
America's
think
just
that
expensive.
do you think that
Yeah.
college is worth it in the end? Of course, we're not done with college, but do you think that it's worth it in the end?
Yes and no.
I think so, because I mean, a lot of employers are going to be looking for that, but the whole myth about like you'll pay off your student debt after you get a job and get a job from your degree is not always the case.
Like, what if you can never find one for your degree?
And what if you don't get a job that's specifically for your degree?
Dang, that's
That's tough.
yeah.
That's tough. Then you
It's-
die.
Yeah. You just got a diploma that you can't do anything with.
Mhm.
That's terrible.
It's good that it's still good to have one, but the money that you put into it, you could spend years not being able to pay that off.
You know, one of my mom's friends, she's a teacher and she's still paying off her student debt from when she was in college.
Can we talk about how much money it costs to be a teacher and then you don't even get paid that much in the end? Like, you gotta really, 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 really want to do that. And for some people to do that and still be bad teachers is crazy to me. And then they'd be hating their jobs like, oh,
I think
I
it's
didn't spend
mostly,
5 years to do this.
I think it's mostly for like the breaks they get, like a whole summer off.
That is true,
and
but
then
they
winter
gotta be
break,
working
spring
during.
break.
They gotta work during the summer though. Otherwise, their plans are ruined.
Yeah, they gotta get a second job during the summer.
The whole school year is ruined. That's right. I'm going on a teacher. I wanted to be a teacher at one point.
You're kind of a teacher, John.
I am a after-school child care counselor. In a way, yes, I do help them with homework. Am I teaching them anything?
Probably.
Sometimes, but not that much.
All right.
I teach them how to make arts and crafts, and that might be beneficial for the future.
They could get and be school and be an art major.
Yes, they can get in B school.
I English very well.
Oh, I had a brain melt for a second.
What do you guys think of the whole concept in public schools relating to SOLs?
They're so stupid.
They're a scam. They
I
shouldn't be
agree.
a thing.
I agree. Elaborate.
Well, first of all, they're just everything you do in school basically rides on the SOL, and it's kind of a terrible system because you're working hard, and then all of a sudden they're like, here's this big old test that you have to pass, and if you don't, you repeat a year.
Mm-hmm.
Those are so scary to me.
Even though you have a
SOLs
passing grade.
suck. SOL should have never been invented. The whole school year went from actually learning things to just being taught what you need to know to be able to pass a test.
That-
So
Right.
you're not really learning anything anymore. You're just memorizing stuff at that point.
Exactly.
You're just memorizing.
What's
Don't-
the benefit to the SOL though?
You pass
Nothing.
a test. You get,
No, what is
you
it
get
for?
brownie points.
Memorization.
I don't know.
What you learn from the whole
Standard of
school.
learning.
I don't know if this is entirely what it is, but my assumption would be it's the public school's way of making sure that all the students are
You're
on the
learning.
same page from year to year.
Mhm.
I assume.
Is that a bad thing?
Well, because you kind of sort of because like you could have students that will want to learn more than they are learning,
And good
then
for
they'll-
them.
Yeah,
Good
and
for
then
them.
they'll be told, oh, you actually only need to know the stuff for the SOL, so this stuff
I
you're learning
did
now is
hate that.
pointless.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you think? I think that this having a standard of learning at least is important because if you get to the next semester and you don't even know anything that they're talking about just because you had an easy teacher the previous year. Well, let's say you had a teacher that let you watch movies the whole time. And
Shout
then
out to
you
my
pass-
English teacher.
And then you pass the class with flying colors because you're really good at watching movies. And then they get to the next class and they say, recite this thing by Socrates. You don't even know who Socrates is.
I like
then
soccer.
what are you gonna do? So I do think standards of learning are important.
Do they take that in private schools or is it just public?
I have no idea.
I don't
I
know.
didn't have to take it when I was. Well, I don't remember. That's a lie.
You never mentioned anything about it.
Okay, well, I don't talk about whether I had to take standardized tests to my friends.
That's true.
That's not something we talk about.
Well, now I want to get someone from a private school and just see like the difference between public and private. Like, is it different? Is it better?
There's no way of knowing. Even public schools can have variation between. It's all depending on the teachers.
Oh, true.
All that crazy stuff. What was? Do you think that you were prepared for, like, let's say when you went from middle school to high school or from elementary school to middle school? Were you prepared for
The leap?
Not really.
Not from middle school to high school, because kind of I was in like an isolated classroom, and it was just like a small group of students with various emotional problems. I was very angry as a child, and so I was in that small isolated classroom. We learned everything else that the other kids would learn just in that one classroom. And then so when I got into high school, they just kind of like threw me in there, just like, all right, have fun. And it was just overwhelming because there's so many people there, and I was just used to like just 10 people in a classroom.
Yeah, and then like the emotional part is weird because it's not like part of the, like, it doesn't really matter to the school. Well, it's not like something that they can
didn't care.
control. Well, they're not like, that's not their job technically. And
Their
it
job
sounds
is to
super
have
harsh.
good grades.
Yeah, your job is to have good grades, and their job is to be teachers, not to be counselors. And I think
Why are
they
there
try their
counselors out of
best.
school then?
Is their best that good? Not that good, but sometimes, but not. I don't know how to fix that, and I think that's where everyone is stuck. Is we don't know how to fix it. Like, nobody knows, and it's so weird.
I'm like a broken record.
Broken record, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I liked school for any of my many years that I was in there. No, and yes, I did learn a lot of things, but at the same time, sometimes I feel like it was just a little bit of a place that my parents sent me just so then they can get me out of the house for the day.
Feels like a prison you're in for 6 hours and for most of the year. Like, I didn't really mind school. I just didn't like my classmates that much because I don't know what was wrong with them, but
They were buttheads.
a lot of them
Were
were
they sticking
buttheads.
forks in electrical outlets?
One did, yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
Most of my classmates were just really buttheads.
Booty
So, like,
buttheads. Yes.
They were
Big
basically
old
just there
turd
because they
burgers.
were forced to be there by their parents, not because they actually want to be there. And so for most of the time, they would just take out their, I guess, anger with whatever it is they're angry at on other students, which I don't feel is fair.
Mm-hmm.
That's
But-
whack.
Do you guys have any, if you were to change one thing, and I guess this can finish us off because we're running out of time today,
All right.
but if you guys could change one thing that happened in any of, like, consistently in all of your years of public school / college, what would you like different or to see a change in?
I would probably say
A little bit of everything.
I said one thing.
something with value. Something you'll use for the rest of your life. Like, I took an econ class, and you learn taxes, filling out apartment applications, and learning about insurance. That's something you'll use for the rest of your life.
Some more general topics, I guess, or
Yes.
like more topics that would be useful to everybody rather than useful to people of the career that they're learning about.
Well, yeah, and everyone should know that, but I guess you're right. So everyone should learn more value skills.
More things about your, like, general life rather
Yeah.
than just the career. Is that what you?
Yes,
Yeah.
I guess that's what I would
Sorry,
be
I was
saying.
trying to phrase it a little.
Yeah.
All right, Kayla.
I just wish they teach more about the real world. Because,
Mhm.
like, once you leave high school, if you choose not to go to college, you're kind of just thrown to the wolves a little bit. You really don't know what to do.
Mm.
So it's like a really big learning experience for a lot of young people
Mm-hmm.
because you don't really know how to function in society, like working society yet, because that really wasn't taught to you. It was just you were taught like the basics.
Yeah.
They never really go into like in depth about
Mhm.
what it is to be an adult, and a lot of things I had to learn the hard way. So
Yeah.
All right. What about
Dylan?
you, Dylan?
I would like to say better background checks on teachers.
Mm.
And I say that just for the sole idea that there are teachers that know what they're talking about, and I've run into this many times in high school and college, that they know their subject very well, but they don't have a proper teaching method for those students.
Isn't it weird how we like rely on Rate My Professor to decide which teachers are worth it? Like,
Yes.
why is that a general like? Why is that a thing where you like we have to know like if they're not good on Rate My Professor, like we have to look at Rate My Professor to see if they're good or not or how their teaching style is, because otherwise you're stuck with them for a whole semester and you might fail or do terrible.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
All right, well I guess I will finish
Oh,
off.
what about John? He's here too,
Oh.
right?
Oh yes,
Sorry,
John.
John.
I guess you can go, John.
All right. If I were to change something, I would have more. I think Liam talked about this before our podcast, but some more active experiences with kids. And I think that sometimes when I see teachers talking for hours and hours and hours on like in front of a whiteboard,
Presentation style.
and see them do it like even as kids, like when they're in elementary school, I feel so bad because I monitor kids while they're doing their online classes now because of COVID, and the fact and seeing them like try to distract themselves or like go on their phones or try to play games just like I did, and have to tell them like, no, you need to sit here and watch even though I know nothing is like going into their brains. It's just so sad because I know that they're not getting anything, but they're forced to sit there and just watch and like I guess pretend to be learning the information.
They're just staring at the screen.
And I know that it's hard now because everyone's online, so that's how they have to learn. But I think that even after, there might be some need for at least some more creative ideas as to how teachers are teaching. And I know that a lot of that is being put into effect by some teachers, but I think it needs to be more of like the norm rather than something special that some teachers do, which is like cater towards the students.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes.
That was just my 2 cents. I hope everyone has a crabby freaking morning.
I gotta do the question.
Oh, still.
John. All right. To end this podcast, the question that I will pose for you guys is, if you were in control of the educational system in America, what would you change? And are there concerns that you would like to be addressed in your college or public school? Thank you, everybody.
I hope everyone has a crabby morning.
Like and subscribe.